Good evening, Bermuda, and welcome to another episode of Education Connection. We are here tonight. We are joined by some students, so I'm very excited. As you know, for the past few weeks, we've been talking about signature learning prototyping sessions. We spoke to the teams that's been behind it, and now tonight we get to speak to the most important stakeholders, those that are actually going to be going through the changes. So we're going to be joined by Razai Garland from the Barclay Institute, Shia Bean from Cedar Bridge Academy, Molly Allen from Sands Middle School, and Anaya Bean from Delwood. We're also joined by Miss Laurel Burns of the Learning First team. I'm going to let the minister give you some background information and a warm welcome before we bring our guest on.
Thank you, Alicia. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to our students that have agreed to be on this show. It's a certain level of bravery to be on one of these shows. You know, your friends are watching and all of that goodness. So I just want to thank Anaya, Molly, Razai, and Shia for appearing on the show. Thank you very much, guys. But good evening, Bermuda, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be joined by these students from our middle and senior schools. They participated in the prototyping and testing of the features of our new signature learning programs. Those prototypings took place over the past 3 weeks. This is an exciting and critically important process, part of the process that we spoke about the last time we were here on Education Connection. These young students, they will share their experiences with you, and then we will open up the opportunity for you, our Bermudian community, to ask the questions and hopefully secure your commitment to get involved in the process as we move forward. As a reminder, the main idea behind Signature Schools is to give students the opportunity to spend a significant a significant part of their time in school following their passions, building on their talents, and developing the skills, knowledge, and relationships needed to achieve their career, further their education, and life aspirations. Our signature schools and the signature programs that will be within them will still have the core curriculum that students will be expected to complete to give them the foundational knowledge and skills needed to compete locally and globally. They, they will also offer signature learning programs that will be selected by the young persons according to their interests and ambitions. The signature programs will offer a range of modules on relevant academic subjects, appropriate practical skills training, individual and group projects in real world issues and challenges, internships and meaningful work placements. Some of you older persons out there might think of that as work release. Effective guidance on careers and further education with relevant accreditation. And as we've previously shared, the signature learning programs at Cedar Bridge Academy will be STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and the trades and professions. And the signature programs at the Barclay Institute will be health and social care and finance and insurance services. So with that, once again, I want to thank the students for joining us. I want to thank the Bermudian public for joining us. Please ask as many questions as you want, and we'll be here to answer. So with that, I'll send it over to you, Laurel, to remind our viewers where we are in the signature school design process.
Thank you very much, Minister Robin. So over the past month, the school transformation teams have been working really hard to develop the new features of our signature learning programs. And so it is this work that has and will continue to be the basis of prototyping, which is the process by which we learn as much as we can about how to operationalize the work. Our changes, they look great, but we have to move beyond plans that are actually on a page. We need to operationalize. So how's it going? It's been going really, really well. We had almost 200 people register across 12 sessions during the first week of prototyping. And we were really excited that we had over 60 young people and some of their teachers from across all of our middle and senior schools during last week to come and prototype those same features and ideas. And all of this is on the back of well over 800 Bermudians who were actively involved in the signature engagement process earlier this year to help us determine the actual signature learning programs that we would be going forward with, and well over currently 65 Bermudians who are involved in our school transformation teams, and they range from educators and parents to industry partners across the various signatures that we're looking to implement for September 2022. So, who do we have with us today? Well, as I said earlier, some students did take part from representatives from all of our middle schools as well as our two senior schools who took part in prototyping last week. And for them, it was something different. It was exciting, and they gave honest and authentic feedback. Today, here we have with us, as we stated earlier, we have Shia Bean from Cedar Bridge Academy. We have Rosai Garland from the Barclay Institute. We have Anaya Ming from Delwood Middle School and Molly Allen from Sand Secondary Middle School, who are here to share with us their experience. So, Minister, I'm going to allow you to have a conversation with these amazing young people.
Why, thank you, Laurel. And just I just want to give you guys an opportunity, just a few minutes, introduce yourselves to the Bermudian public. And we'll start with you, Mr. Garland.
Evening, everybody. My name is Rosai Garland. I attend the Barclay Institute, and looking forward to this.
Thank you, Miss Ming. Miss Ming.
Good evening, Bermuda. My name is Anaya Ming. I attend Delwood Middle School, and I'm really excited to tell you about my experience at the signature school prototypes.
And Mrs. Allen.
Hi, I'm outside. Hi, Bermuda. My name is Molly Allen, and I am very excited to tell you about my experience at the prototype meeting.
What school do you attend?
I attend Secondary Middle School.
There we go. And last but not least, Ms. Bean.
Good evening, Bermuda. I am Shia Bean. I attend Cedar Bridge Academy, and I'm excited to be here.
Okay, well, thank you very much. So let's get into the show. We just want to, this show is about you guys and letting the public know, what happened while you were in this prototyping. And so what the first question I have is, what did it feel like to be involved in setting the direction for the future of public schools in Bermuda and to have your voice listened to in the format that you did?
I feel like it was a very good experience because they gave us an opportunity to really look at and to really see what it might look like, and they gave us the opportunity to give our own input and to give us a hand on the steering wheel, in a sense, to direct ourselves and direct our education into a way that we see fit, because it is our education and it's how we want to learn. And they gave us the opportunity to basically, show ourselves what we do.
Well, what about teacher retooling and, teaching teachers to look at education differently and teaching differently?
I feel like teachers should look at students as more than just things that they need to get the paycheck. Feel me? I feel like they should try to interact more with us and try to discover different ways to teach us instead of just going by the book and going by what they're given. Feel me? Not just do the job, but try and get beyond and try to think outside the box in different ways and use different methods in order to teach us.
Good. Miss Allen?
I think it's good because we get to help make the decisions, because usually the adults are the ones who make the decisions, but we get to help with our future instead of the adults being the ones who basically make the decisions. So the children get to have an input on what we want and not what they want, because it is our education and our learning.
Mm-hmm. Well, what about tell me some more about advisory.
I like the advisory because we got to go downstairs and basically sit down with two teachers and talk about what we wanted. And so I had told them that I would like, as an example, like being a doctor, like to teach the children what it would be like. So I'd be a doctor, like give them work that shows what it is like to be a doctor. And so they can kind of see like what it's going to look like in the future. And also in advisory, we got to talk about what type of mentor that we would have liked to have. So basically, I said that I would want a mentor that isn't so grumpy and uptight, who can communicate with children and not be so grumpy and
Uh-huh.
understand the children.
Okay, cool. Did anyone else wanted to jump in on that question? What it was like to be know that your voice was heard, and in what the future of education would look like in Bermuda.
I would like to chime in. It felt very empowering that you guys asked us our opinion, and I was actually very excited that you guys asked us our opinion because we are the ones firsthand receiving this education. So the fact that you asked us for our opinion and how we want to learn was very exciting.
That's good. That's good to hear. Anyone else? Is there one more? Ms. Ming, did you want to jump in, or you're good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, let me ask this other question. All right, and you guys are doing great, by the way. Yeah, we've had adults on here that we're scared to talk, but as we talked about earlier, you guys are used to this stuff. You're used to sending videos on your phones and all that stuff. So this is easy for you, right? So let me ask this question: is there any aspect of the changes we're making in learning and schooling you want us to think about, or to think about some more? And I'll start with you, Miss May.
An aspect from me is about where the signature schools are going to be and how as children are going to choose it and what are going to be at the signature schools,
Hmm.
because we need to know what the schools are going to be about to help us with our future.
Okay. And so again, how was the advisory that you participated in?
The advisory was really fun. It really helped me because right now, like the school I'm at, advisory is kind of boring. We do stuff, but like not fun. So we talked about what we could do during advisory, and they let us choose the things what we wanted to do. So, like for example, I put that we could do unfinished assignments. So yeah, and we also can play games during that time. And I also talked about advisory being an hour and a half.
Oh, wow. Okay. Good. An hour and a half for advisory? No. Well, what would we accomplish in an hour and a half? What would you like to do in an hour and a half?
So it could be 30 minutes, do your work. The other 30 minutes, maybe go to
Hmm.
walk, have fun, and then the other 30 minutes you can just relax, eat a snack or something like that.
No, I like to eat the snack part for sure. You see Miss Burns smiling. um, Miss Bean, what would you say to that question?
An aspect I feel should be looked at more closely is adequately funding our signature schools. So
Hmm.
since I would like to be a neonatal surgeon, I would fit into the STEM program. STEM meaning science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Being able to fund these programs for what they need to learn.
You know what? And I want to thank you for that, because that's a question that we get a lot. Myself, it's like, well, where's the funds going to come from? And I just want to commit to you guys and commit to all of your peers and all of our students in Bermuda that the Bermuda government is committed to making sure that what needs to be done to bring these signature programs to fruition gets done. So in September 2022, they will be in place for sure. So now, Ms. Bean, just touch on teacher retooling. I know you were in that class. I know Mr. Garland has some really interesting things to say from the Barclay, but I'm curious to know what Cedar Bridge is saying about teacher retooling.
Teacher retooling was a very exciting program, actually. They asked us what they were telling us that they were trying to retrain our teachers to fit these signature schools. So they
Mhm.
asked us what's one thing we could train, like our opinion on it. And it was actually very exciting for us to be able to give our opinion on what our teachers should be equipped with to tend to the students of signature schools.
Thank you very much. Um, so, guys, and this one is for all of you to expand on as much as you can. What are you excited about as you think about the signature learning programs from next year onward? Are there any particular features that you're excited about? And I'll start with you, Mr. Garland, because you're like the first person on my screen.
Well, we was told as high school students and as like senior students, I'm an S3, feel me? So I'm not gonna really be able to go into the signature learning program. But like for
Mhm.
kids to coming into it, I feel like it would be a very different experience for them, especially those like coming from middle school because they're so used
Right.
to the regular, core classes, on-core classes. They're so used to that. So I feel like getting into something different and something more of what they actually want to do, I feel like that would be a good change for them. And even like little kids in preschool, they're gonna be coming into this, and that's gonna be what they're expected to do. That's gonna be the normal for them. Like I'm got a little brother, feel me?
Mhm.
He's gonna be in this. You know what I mean? Like this is gonna be
Right.
how it is. So I feel like it's good that you're giving me and everyone else the opportunity to have a voice in how they're gonna be educated.
Okay, so you said you're an S3,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. How old is your little brother?
His four. His four.
Oh, four. So he's got a little ways to go. So he's in preschool. Will he be in P1 this year or next year?
Next year.
Next year. All right. Well, if I'm so fortunate to continue to be in this position, I'll be looking out for that name, Garland, for sure. I
He's
see
actually
great
a
things
Ryan.
coming from
He's
you.
actually a
No,
Ryan.
I'm talking about you. You're getting ready to finish school, and there are some opportunities. Although you may not be able to take advantage of these signature programs, there are opportunities for you as a graduating senior. So that you can get through the Ministry of Education for furthering your schooling and things like that. So I'll look forward to seeing your name come across my desk asking for a signature to you know help
Thank
send you off to school.
you.
All right, Miss Ming. And so the question was, what are you excited about when you think about these signature programs from next year onward? And this is particularly special for you because you're still in middle school and you'll be moving up and you'll be experiencing these things firsthand. So, what do you think? What are the things that you're particularly excited about when you think about what we're doing?
I'm really excited about the classes because we still got our four main subjects, but we got new classes. So I'm really excited for those because they're really going to help me with my future and other people's futures who are moving up with me.
Mhm. That's good. That's good to hear. What was your favorite thing that happened while you were participating in the prototyping?
My favorite thing that happened, there are actually two, but I guess I'll do this because I already said one. One was the advisory, and
Mhm.
one was the last activity where we were asked what was our number one priority for the
Mhm.
signature schools, and we were all in little groups. And my group chose to communicate with the community,
Right.
so we had to make different ways how we were going to communicate, and it was really fun because they gave us all the supplies. We can build it, we can draw it. It was really fun and really helpful.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you had so much fun doing that. I don't know. I'm just excited. Just listening to you guys talk, and I see some of the comments that are coming in, and people are just saying you guys are doing so great. I am sorry. It seems like we've lost Miss Ming. No, Miss Allen, but hopefully she's able to come back. So I'm on to you, Miss Bean. What are some of the things that got you excited while doing this and the signature programs that are coming that you see are going to be within our senior school starting September 2022?
They talked to us about community partners and how they'll be doing trading professionals, meaning people that already have the jobs that we are looking towards, such
Hmm.
as a doctor, a plumber, a mechanic. We will be able to come into the school and talk to the students about their experience as already having that job. I'm excited to see that for the students behind me and how they'll get a better, like a better grasp on what these jobs are from the public?
You know, it's interesting. It's a good thing that you said that. I was in a meeting yesterday with all of the all of the major hotels in Bermuda, and one of the things that I told them was, guys, have you actually asked our students what it is about uh, hospitality and working in hotels that they like or don't like, so you can kind of see how we can position ourselves. And that's what the purpose of these exercises are. Bermuda is to bring the people who not only are in the position to offer experience and jobs and the like to our students, but an opportunity for our students to be able to ask them questions and them to ask our students questions, so they can get an understanding of what it is that our children are looking for. It's critically important for us to listen to these voices and for us to take into account what it is that our students would like to see, so we can incorporate those things. We're not going to incorporate everything, but we're going to have a better understanding of how we can reach, how we can teach, and how we can ensure that we have the things in place that make sure that these young minds, these future of Bermuda that we see on the screen here, how it is that they can contribute to our country as they grow older and matriculate through our education system and go, whether it's into the working field or off to university right away. I just want to take this opportunity now just to ask Ms. Laurel Burns if there's anything that she would like to add. She's been with this from the beginning. She's probably got about 2 years this under her belt now.
Definitely, I'm well into my second year of this project. I think that when we talk about these young people, this is literally a sampling of the voices, the authentic voices that we experienced last week. And again, they prototyped across the same 12 sessions that were done with the adults that were from the previous week. But Shai used the word that they were empowered. And they literally used that opportunity. I did 2 of the days, and my colleague Tracy Hayward did the other 2 days of prototyping. But we all came back with the same information, that our young people appreciated being heard. Our young people said, wait a minute, no one has ever asked us this before. Our young people, they spoke truth to power. They said what it was they were not happy with, and they said what could be done to be made better. And they did it with the highest level of professionalism. And I say that as opposed to respect, because our young people were the young people, the students that we wanted them to be for the day. And so they did it with the highest level of professionalism, and they shared both their concerns, but also their feedback across some ideas that I think were possibly even a challenge for even the adults to think about. They still came with that information. When we say to young people, what do you think is important when you are being assessed if you go out to an internship, that they were able to bring forth what they felt from where they were standing, and then we were able to share ideas from an adult perspective and have a really rich conversation around that, and then say, well, if this is what you want to assess us in, if we go out and do an internship, and this is what the industry partners will assess us with, well, then how come you're not already teaching us that in school? So we learned a lot, and we're truly appreciative. I cannot underscore how much this is only a sampling of the authentic voices that were brought forth last week, over 60 young people. And I do want to speak to our high schoolers, where, of course, we had them come because they're going through it now, and their feedback is just as important. And of course, there may be a level of disappointment that they may not actually experience signature learning programs. But again, the level of professionalism and maturity that comes of saying, and I think Razai is a perfect example of this, of saying, I know I won't get to experience this, but it was so important for me to give my feedback because I understand how much it will benefit my little brother, my little cousin, my little sister, my whoever, maybe my own children in a number of years. And they were still authentic with us and spoke their truth to power, even though they know that they wouldn't exactly get to experience it. And we truly appreciate that, particularly from our senior school students.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Laurel. It's interesting, guys, because people are listening to you and they're hearing what you're saying and they're posting messages on this, from Facebook and all the rest. And I see an interesting one that just popped up, and it's this one's dedicated to you, Shia, and it says this being mentioned a desire to become a new natal surgeon. And guess what? It says a former Cedar Bridge Academy head girl teaches in the neuroscience faculty at the University of Dalhousie. There you go. See, there's some people giving you tips already, and listening to what you're saying, because we are listening. We're not just paying lip service to what you guys are saying. We are listening. And so with Alicia that you saw early on when she introduced you, we heard you and you said you want us to expand our PR into what did they say? TikTok and Snapchat. So we're working on how we can try and reach you guys. Where you at? We want to reach you where you at. So thank you. Just a few more questions. We're seeing some good comments coming in. And this one's for anybody to grab, and maybe a couple of them, but all of you can contribute. So what did other students that you were with during the day say about the experience? Was it discussed amongst yourselves when you left? Did any of them view the opportunity to have this conversation different from the way you viewed it?
Sorry. So I was split into three groups at first. I was away from my friend. So when we came back into break, she was telling me what she did, and she said she really liked it, and she said she really learned it, and she said it was really going to help her in the future. And she said that she really loved it, and yeah.
All right. Razai?
When I was in my prototyping session, I was split up into groups with Whitney students. And one of them brought up a question that I didn't even think to ask. He said if a student doesn't want to do the signature school, what would be the outcome for that? Like, what if somebody wants to continue learning how it's been all this time? Do they have the opportunity to do that?
Okay. And do you remember what the answer was to that?
I think that they didn't have an answer for that. I think they said they'll see.
I think Ms. Burns can answer that.
I can give a bit more than that. So I think, and possibly, however you heard that response, it may have been sitting around the idea of learning how it's always been. And I think I promise you that is not the goal, to do everything and do all of the things as it's already been done. But we've definitely had conversations with the adults and with other young people around the idea that, if a young person is still undecided in terms of a signature program that they would like, that we want to provide an opportunity and a pathway for them to still be successful. As we stated earlier, our core curriculum will still exist, and through our entire education reform process, we will improve those as well. But young people, no matter what, whether they're decided in their signature learning program or they're undecided, what they will have is a successful pathway that can ultimately have them ready to move on to higher learning or to still be employable, right? And so the story we tell with everyone is that there are so many of us adults who have changed careers, who as early as being in university, whether it's the first, second, I have friends do it in their last year, who have changed majors. We have young people who start university who are undecided. I've interviewed people, Minister for Scholarships, and some of them were undecided. And so we think that that is absolutely okay. And so I think the piece is, will you just do things as it's always been done and just not choose? No. But will you have a pathway that could be possibly not along a signature, but still be successful? Absolutely, because our goal is for each and every young person to finish senior school successfully, either ready to be employed or ready to go into higher learning, even if that higher learning is undecided.
That is good to hear. Thank you for that, Laurel. Miss Bean, you're the only one. If you don't feel like answering, say you don't. But we're just curious to know, well, what did your other students, your fellow students, think of? What was happening?
The other students were much older than me. They were separated from me, so I wasn't really able to hear everything they
Mhm.
were said. So
So did you
I don't
guys
really have
talk
any
about it
memory.
afterwards when you went back, to regular school life?
Not really. Not really like
Okay,
that.
no, not a problem, not a problem. Um,
I see.
question from our audience is
Yeah, we have an interesting one here. I'm going to show Miss Stafford's. She says she strongly supports the signature learning progress. Please, would you advise how you will make space for the arts in the curriculum?
well, when we're talking about signature programs, one of the signature programs, because there are 10 of them. There are 10, and I would have mentioned, I was going to mention them towards the end of the show, but one of them is the arts. And so the idea was to, of course, arts will continue to be part of the day-to-day curriculum, but a signature will be one of the signatures will be the arts and culture. I'm sorry, I get there. I'm sorry, I missed off the culture part. It'll be arts and culture will be one of the future signatures.
Perfect.
Another question we have here, if you could put the question up from, and you did put it up. Um, do you feel more students should have the opportunity to participate in the prototyping sessions? And that is to our students.
I would like to answer this.
Sure.
One of the students said at the end from Cedar Bridge said that they felt that the more academically challenged students should have been there to put their feedback into how they learn, because if they're academically challenged, they learn differently from other people.
Right.
So they should have had an opportunity to be there and share their opinions.
And thank you for that, because as I started off by saying, we're here to listen to you and get the ideas of what we need to do to move this system forward. And Ms. Burns, I know, is making these notes, and uh, I'm not going to put her on the spot and say when is the prototyping for when are we going to do more prototyping, but we will be interacting more with students more as well along these lines. Um, Miss Ming, do you think more of your fellow students should have been there?
Yes, I do because like you've been saying, we're the ones that are going into the schools, so they should know what's gonna happen in those schools. They should know what it's gonna be like, and they need to know what schools they need to choose the schools that they're going to for their future job. So I think they should participate because it was really fun. It was really interesting, and I just love how they wanted to listen to us and not just make
Hmm.
the decision without our voices being heard.
Not to put you on the spot, but what signature, you being a middle school student at Sand Secondary Middle School, I mean Delwood Middle School, geez, I'm getting them all confused. Uh, what signature interests you? We have STEM, we have trades and professions, we have finance and insurance business, and we have health and uh-oh,
Health
lost
and
my train of
social
thought.
care.
Health and social care. Which one interests you? Because at this point we only have those four, but there are six more that are coming online. But unfortunately, they'll be at a later date. If you don't
Um,
want to answer, you can say, let me think
like
about this some
good
more.
at interests me, but like they're both at different schools, so I'm really deciding which one I really want to do. So it's
Hmm.
health and social care and the STEM.
Right. And
Yeah,
then so you're trying to decide between those two.
yeah.
Well, I am sure that you'll make the best decision. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just like,
All right.
but I really want to do this one, but like this one might be better than this one. It's like so confusing.
Okay, well, and that brings us to something we probably, we have to figure out. How do we expose you guys to even more so you can have a much wider view of what these things do, so you can, put you in a better position to decide which route that you want to go. Because you're right, both of them are kind of similar in some ways, but quite different in other ways.
And
And
also,
I
I'd
can
like
add
to
to that.
add. Go
I
ahead.
was going to
Sorry.
say, and we're looking to do some more sprints in January. I mean, of course, we have to be honest, cross our fingers and toes that everyone behaves over the Christmas holiday and we
Yes,
don't fall
please.
into another wave because we were able to get this in because everything had calmed down. But we definitely there is a plan, particularly for our middle school students, to do a bit of tasters to kind of get a sense of what this programming could look like or what the curriculum could look like. So hopefully January-ish. We're not going to hold us to it because we live in an unpredictable world. There will be more opportunities for our middle and possibly even our upper primary school students as well.
That's exciting. And even just over the summer holidays, I encourage you to maybe volunteer in different fields just so you can even see what you might have more of a passion for so that when it's time for you to pick, you can, have something to build that on. I know I used to love volunteering because it lets you get to know what you really like and what you don't like. So I see we have some more comments. I'm going to bring them up. Where are these teachers coming from? What is the structure of these schools going to look like? What happens to the teachers from the schools closing? At what point do the middle school hear all of these choices and the school year and will be here before we know it? That it's not going to happen this year. This is happening over the next, what was it, 2 to 5 years?
Well,
Go ahead, answer.
we could answer some of those questions. Where are these teachers coming from? That's exactly why we're doing what we're doing now. And we're and Laurel can and expand on that. But I just want that listener to know that we are doing all that we can to prepare. We have intense programs in both of our senior schools to prepare the teachers for this new curriculum. But I'll kind of leave it there. I know Laurel, you can touch on that a lot more than I can. So I'll leave that one there for you. What's the structure of these schools going to look like? Again, that's what we're working on now. That's why we're doing the prototyping. That's why we're doing all of the signature learning. School transformation teams are actually looking at what's going to look like, because the idea that we have is when you walk into Cedar Bridge Academy, when you walk into the Barclay Institute in September, those S1s are going to notice that there is a difference because the signature programs are there. The other part of that question, at what point do the middle schools hear of these choices? The school year end will be here before we know it. That's what we're doing now. You just heard Miss Burns talk about continued sprinting in January, where we give our middle school students a taster of what it is that these signature programs will be like, and put them in a better position to be able to say, this is the route I want to go, or maybe this route over here is better for me. There was one more part of the question. It's cut off, Alicia. I can't see it on the screen. I know, but I'll just move on to. There's another
Yeah, we
question.
have another question. Did to the students, did you leave the meeting feeling confident that this approach to learning will be better? If yes, what information provided that conclusion? And if you didn't leave feeling that confident that this would be a great approach, what information may have been missing?
While they think about it, thank you, Lady Severin, for such an amazing question for these young people.
I feel like just the fact that they brought us in to ask us questions about what they think would make our learning better is the right step in the direction, because incorporating us into the opinion and into how everything is going to work, I feel like they're doing the job right just from that approach. And yeah.
So, do you feel that having the opportunity to start at the high school level, focusing on some of those different career paths, would be good? I know you might not get to experience it, but do you feel like that is a step in the right direction so that, by the time students are ready to graduate, that they have more clarity as to, okay, I like this, I don't like this, I might want to pursue it in school, or I might want to do it as a hobby?
Yes, because I feel like over the years, the complaint from students has always been, why am I doing this? Like, why aren't I doing something that will more better my education? I will more better what I'm doing in the future. So I feel like the signature skills is a really good step in the right direction to giving us a more personal way of learning.
Thank you for
I
that.
I do want to share, Miss Trot, and I'm really, really sorry, Molly Allen. It did drop off. If you're listening and you're able to still get back on, we definitely welcome you because you had some really great points. I know that Molly came from Sands, and I was in during that day. And she, when we were prepping for this conversation, she did talk about how she was a part of the advisory prototype, and those particular aspects that were being prototyped in that session were around um, um, who are some of the roles of in that advisory, like who is in that advisory, and so they got to experience things, conversations around what if you had a personal learning advocate? What if there was a counselor? I think Anaya spoke about what somebody else spoke about mentors, but being really strategic. And I can say that those young people found that intriguing because that advisory period can be such a rich experience for them. And they really gravitated to the aspect of having someone who had their same passions or interests, if it's the teacher who's an advisor, or the opportunity to have maybe a long-term mentor that came in periodically during that advisory period who is within the industry that they work in. And so I do know that that is something that she experienced and that we did speak a bit about enriching that advisory experience with the being very specific about the roles of the people who were in that room or during that period.
That's exciting. Can I go back to high school at some point? Um, so Ms. Stafford says, I have been lucky to judge debate for over 15 years. CBA and Barclay and Elwood all have good debate teams. Perhaps debating can be integrated into advisory. That's a good
Great.
suggestion.
Good suggestion.
A
So
very good
but
suggestion.
I'll revert back to the previous question. If Shia and Anaya want to answer, did you leave feeling that this is a good way forward for learning by being able to have the signatures that you can spend up to 30% of your time learning?
Um, it left me, yeah, I think it's really good because it left me like confident that I'm gonna have a better learning than I had before, and I'm just really excited to go to those schools, and they really give us information about what we're gonna do there and how it's gonna be done, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because they really explain what we're gonna do, and it's really gonna help me with my future.
Hmm.
We're feeling the vibes, Anaya. We're feeling the vibes. Yeah, excitement is contagious.
Well, I know this 45 minutes has just flown by. What do you say, Alicia? You guys, you want to hang on for a few more minutes, or we because normally we end the show around 7, and we're getting lots of good feedback from the public. They're really excited to hear your voices. You guys are giving phenomenal answers. This is this is just everything that we've been hoping for out of this, and I look forward to January, Laurel, when we start doing more sprints and prototyping. And I've just been informed that that will include primary school students as well when we come back in January. Because as we know, we're looking to build this system from the bottom up, and the idea is when we're fully engulfed in what the system is, which we know will take the next 5+ years to get to, because we want to make sure that we do this gradually, so there's less disruption to our students. But we're looking at when you're in P7 and P8, that's when you're getting exposure to what these signatures are. So by the time you finish P8 and ready to go on to S1, you're already on a path. You're already knowing this is the direction I want to go in. The question asked there, it's not for our students, but Laura, it's one that we get all the time. Will there be an option for a student to change particular signature school if they find that their interest is in another specific area? It's one that we do get asked
We
all the
get
time.
asked all of the time, and I think it's only natural for us to create opportunities for if they do want to change, then they will be able to change. In general, what we're looking at is for young people to be involved with their core curriculum around 70% of their time, and then they'll spend the other 30% exploring their passions, rather, and 20% probably being their signature major, 10% being their signature minor. Absolutely. We don't want to tie them down to something and say, oh, you can't change. That's not the nature of how most of us in our professions or our careers, and certainly with these new generations, we're expecting them to change careers at least 4 to 5 times in their entire lifetime. So changing within their senior school learning program, absolutely, we have to ensure that there's a pathway for that to happen, and I don't think that that will be too much trouble at all.
Yes, and as we move forward, just to add to that, for that listening, for that listener, as we move forward and create more senior schools, we more senior schools that will have different signatures. We also know that we're going to have to develop a way of, because there might be your major might be at one school, but the thing you're really interested in as a minor might be at another. That has to be worked out on how that part will operate. But it is something that is on the radar, and it is something that we will be developing as we move forward with creating and opening more signature schools throughout Bermuda. Just and so, Laura, do you have all of the 10 signatures in front of you?
I think let me see if I do.
I do
Yeah.
not.
Let me grab those. We have trades and professions. Just for those persons who are listening, we have trades and professions, um, finance and insurance services, hospitality and tourism, climate, environment and agriculture, community safety and social justice. Something looks wrong here in my list. Education services, health and social care, the arts and culture, sports and leisure, and of course STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. So eventually we will have 10 of them. And one thing that I always mention, Laurel, before you hold that thought, I always mention that there was an 11th one, and it was called entrepreneurship.
Yes.
But through our feedback that we've gotten when we put it out there to see if these was right for Bermuda, it was decided based on the feedback from the public that entrepreneurship needs to be worked into the entire curriculum that children are learning from primary all the way through senior school. So instead of it being a separate signature that they get more exposure to when they get to senior school, this is something that they will have exposure to for their entire school career. But go ahead, Laura.
Wonderful.
I was actually going to speak to that, and I'm going to build on it now that you've mentioned it, that entrepreneurship is going to be threaded through all of our signatures. And that received a huge thumbs up, if you will, from our young people, who a lot of them know that they may want to own their own businesses. I think we even had conversations around how maybe some of the advisory period is based around that. Possibly there were conversations around that, but certainly entrepreneurship, we know, is going to be threaded throughout, because all of our young people should have an opportunity to understand how that works in case they do want to do things on their own at whatever scale that they choose to do that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Do any more questions, Alicia?
No, but I just want to pose one last question to all of these students. I know that oftentimes it's that generational gap between students and teachers. So if you could give your teachers one practical tip that could help them to better connect with teaching to your generation, whether that's technology or you want them to deliver it a certain way, I just want to open up the floor for you can give more than one, but maybe just one. I knew Razai had a lot of good suggestions earlier, so just want to tap in and capitalize on that.
I feel like teachers should just be more interactive. That's really a big thing for me, because I don't like to be bored, and when I feel like a teacher's boring me, it just makes me tired. Like
Check
I
off.
want, yeah, I just check out the class. I don't really feel like learning because it's not gripping me, and it's
So
not.
would you say more hands-on type of interaction, like practical stuff?
Yeah, like more like not everything just written. So like if you're in science or something and you're doing like I don't know something about gravity, maybe you could go outside and like I don't know drop a rock off a balcony and like
Okay,
then
more
do stuff.
experiments, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That was great. Shaya, Naya.
Going back to what Razai said, maybe the more hands-on, Because my teachers are good, who I have right now, because they really like to, listen and like to interact with us. And because for like social studies, we usually we play Jeopardy with the questions. It's like really fun because we play Jeopardy and we have to ask the questions and we get points for that. And then for like family studies, that's also really fun because we get to cook and then maybe a lesson after we get to actually like talk about nutrition, protein, all that. My plate chart, and then yeah, so more hands-on and maybe for maybe like for some classes a little bit more interacting because like as I said, I really dislike being bored. Like once I'm bored, I zone out and I don't listen. So yeah.
Great point.
And Shia, anything you can add to that?
I think teachers should come in with a good attitude. So to be mindful of how they are, how they're presenting themselves to us. So if you come in with a good attitude, I will come back with a great attitude. So
All
just
right.
how they present ourselves, not just assuming that we're all bad, because we're not all bad. So, good energy.
All right. Good stuff. And Laurel is a former teacher, Miss Burns.
She's a
Former,
forever teacher, forever educator.
former, I'm a forever teacher.
Well, she hasn't been in the classroom for a minute.
Nobody.
But,
Every where she goes.
but she's listening to you, and as I said,
I
guys,
am.
we are listening to you. We are taking everything that you are telling us. Trust me, everything that you said in these prototype sessions was written down, shared, and some of it has even just shocked some of us. So, I was there, and Mr. Garland, I was there when Whitney was there, so I probably saw you. Yeah, because Barclay students were there, so I probably saw you, and that's where I saw on the board. You guys, only when someone wrote only old people use Facebook. Right?
I wasn't gonna bring that up, Minister. I
Oh,
don't want to bring that up, but I mean, yeah, they were like Facebook, no, that, and we had two different groups say that, 2 different days, and I was like embarrassed. They said it's for old people, so
If
we
you
have
want to
to.
reach us, find different ways to reach us. And
Well,
I
we
was just
created
like,
a Snapchat and a TikTok today. We don't have any
yes.
content yet, but we're at MOED if you want to follow us. And I'll reach out to you if you want to help us with content creation. But, we definitely heard what you said. And just want to encourage you all to continue to speak your truth and advocate for yourselves as you continue through education. Like, your opinion is valid and things change when you want them to change. So just, you have power. So grateful that you all came on today.
Well, look at this, Miss Trot. I'm going to set the bar very high, right? So I want all of the students that participated in that prototyping sessions, go and talk to your friends. And I want to see who produces the best TikTok video that talks about what happened in the prototyping.
Do I
And trust
sense
me,
a challenge coming?
there will be some prizes made available for the best videos that we get. So how about that?
Okay.
We're putting that out there. So you got two options. You got TikTok and you got Snapchat.
Snapchat.
Flyer coming
MOED.BM.
soon.
Let us know what you're saying. Tell
What
your
about
friends.
Instagram?
Instagram too. We can't forget.
Instagram, we're already on
We
Instagram.
got Instagram too. I'm putting that challenge out there. So let your friends know. Let me see. I really want to see what school comes up with the best one. Here we go.
I heard some great advice from Miss Stafford. She said that she knows that you are all going to apply for scholarships in the future. Be sure to list this experience on your cover letters. Your ability to speak publicly is a tremendous asset.
And to that end, I'm actually, when I email you guys out, I'm actually going to put what you can write on your CVs, okay?
Yes.
So that you will keep that. I hope you're keeping running CVs, particularly our high school students, for when you apply for scholarship, okay?
And of course, Laurel, Miss Burns will be reminding you guys about the Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok competition. I'm laying the market on it. And listen, everybody in Bermuda here has heard it, so I can't go back on it now.
Flyer
it'll
coming
be
soon. We're working on tomorrow.
I think it's a great time to, even as we do wrap up, Minister, to explain, well, what has now what, right? We did 2 to 3 weeks of this prototyping. Now what? Well, already this week we got on a really large Zoom. Nearly 100 of us who are working in either the transformation for signature learning programs and our system conditions teams, and we all came together. And believe it or not, we literally took all of the information from the adults and from the young people, and we got into groups. So as an example, I sat in on the communications team because I do work with that aspect with Ms. Trott when it comes to transformation. And that was our conversations about how do we create TikTok campaigns for each of the signature learning programs to expose them. And we've just basically brought together all of the information from the young people and adults. So I want all of the adults who are listening and our young people that are listening, our young people here, that information, it really does get used, and we just bring it all together, and it's enabled us to refine the concepts and ideas that we have already to make them even better. And our next step is to kind of produce that next prototype. As you all heard the example, Dyson produced 5,000 prototypes before he was able to sell the winning model. And so we're not going to do 5,000. I'm sure we're going to hit the nail long before that. But we really appreciate that feedback, and we've already started to put it to good use during this week as we brought the information together.
all right. Thank you, Miss Burns.
Principals put you on the spot, Shia. He said, let's start the TikTok challenge at CBA. We got this. Oh, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. I remember being at CBA and watching the principal level up. I think that was one of his first logos. I can't remember. They come up with a theme every year. I know Delwood does it too. They have a theme every year. They do it. I don't know. Does Barkley do that? Reside? I'm not sure. They come up with like a popular theme. So we'll see. We'll see who wins this challenge.
Reside said he's not only TikTok, he's not Snapchatting.
All right. Well, Alicia, can you, if I'm not sure if you have it, but if you can put up in the banner, we want people to know how they can continue to reach out to us and send us their feedback at schoolredesign@moed.bm. And to learn more about the Learning First program, which covers everything that we've talked about, I'll visit the website at www.learningfirstbda.com, and you see it in the banner that's scrolling at the bottom of the screen. And sign up for the newsletter, and you'll get notices of when we want you to sign up to come out for prototyping and things like that. We look forward to we had 100. What was it, Laura? It was nearly 200 adults came out on the first.
Yeah, nearly 200 adults register. Obviously, some people can't make it, but to express interest to the tune of over 200, of nearly 200 registrations, I think speaks volumes to people wanting to commit and wanting to provide feedback. And if they couldn't make it, they popped an email and said, okay, but please keep me in touch. And so we really, really appreciate that. And like I said, well over 60 young people participated. So we're in a really, really good space.
Yep. And in January, we'll be looking to do this some more. So just look out for our notices, sign up, go to the website, sign up for the newsletter. So you'll be on the mailing list and get all of these exciting things. And again, as Miss Trott said, follow us on our socials, MOED.BDA, and that's pretty much the name for all of them, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and now TikTok. And
apparently, it's Facebook for us old people. Is Facebook. So
they could tell the parents. It's fine.
And so, guys, I want to thank you. We've gone 15 minutes over where we normally go, but I think it was worth it. Everyone's excited to hear from you. I'm excited to hear from you. This is probably one of the best shows that we've had. I look forward to having young people on the show even more as we move forward. There's exciting times ahead for Education Bermuda, and so I encourage you to tune in, sign up, and be a part of as we continue to create a system for Bermuda by Bermuda. So with that, I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and catch you in 2 weeks when we're back.
The next episode.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, young people. Have a great one.
Okay, you want to say good night to Bermuda students?
Yeah, this is your time to give your shout outs.
Any shout outs?
Oh, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for the feedback, and thank you to everybody for the support. Appreciate it.
I want to thank you, Bermuda, for watching us, listening to our voices, and thank you for all the people who came up with the sessions for our schools to go to the prototype.
All right.
Have our voices heard.
And Ms. Bean, you know your principal's listening.
Thank you guys for giving us the opportunity to be here. And thank you to my principal for choosing me.
All right. And so with that, Miss Trot, you can take us out.
Okay, good night, Bermuda. The next episode is going to be on Thursday, December 16th. We are looking at connecting with more community members, industry leaders, if we got students, but we'll be continuing to discuss the prototyping session. Layla, again, come say hi.
She said, actually, are you going to come say hi, Layla?
Again, got
Yeah,
Layla
come
on
down.
episode.
This is my young one. And, she's part of this prototyping too. She will be next round.
Okay, thanks again, students. Good night, Bermuda.
Night.
Night.